301 redirects are the unsung hero of the internet. They help keep everything moving smoothly over the years, make sure we don't have dead ends everywhere, and perhaps more importantly, they allow us to make changes to our URLs and domains without obliterating all of our SEO juice that we've built up over the years. In today's video, I want to talk about what exactly 301 redirects are, why they're important, and how you can implement them yourself, both through your hosting or through your CMS like WordPress. So what are 301 redirects? Well, they're actually rather simple. They're HTTP status codes that tell browsers a URL has permanently been changed. So it's kind of similar to a mail or an email forwarding address. It automatically shifts a visitor from an old URL to a new URL, or an old domain to a new domain. And just like it does that for visitors, it can do that for search engines as well. So why do they matter? Well, when you change a URL structure or you change the domain of your website, the old domain or URL becomes dead. If someone was to visit that link, click on that link from somewhere else on the web, or put it into their bar at the top of their browser, they'd reach a dead end. They'd go nowhere. With a 301 redirect, it allows you to automatically move them from that old one to that new page. And in the same way, Google crawlers use that to keep their index up to date, to say, hey, this is an old page, we actually need to be indexing this page as well. And in doing so, it helps to maintain all that SEO value you've built up on a URL over the years, instead of starting again with a completely new page. That's super important because search engines recognize pages by their URL structure. So if you change that to a search engine, it essentially creates a whole new page. And now to tell it that actually this isn't a new page completely, or we want to pass the information or the SEO juice from our old page to our new page, we need to put a 301 redirect in place. That's super important. So when might you use a 301 redirect? Well, I've sort of discussed these already. When changing a URL structure on your current website, for example, down here you can see you might go from have a / category / article name, or / product and then product name, to / blog / article name, or you might even shorten them or tweak them in any number of ways. Now, that you might think, well, why would I bother doing that? Well, there can be all sorts of reasons, from just restructuring a website, looking to make SEO improvements, or even consolidating two pieces of content or two similar pages. Particularly helpful if you've got two cannibalized pages that are showing up in search engines and they're kind of very similar. You might merge those pages together. When you get rid of the old one, you want to make sure you're putting a 301 redirect to the core page that you want to rank, rather than trying to rank both of them or have visitors visit both of them. And of course, when migrating from one domain to another, if you change your domain name, you don't want to lose all that SEO juice you've built up over the years. So you can actually pass that over through a complete set of 301 redirects that takes all the old pages and redirects them to a new one. So when you're migrating sites in particular, 301 redirects happened a lot. Even if you're changing a domain or you're moving from one content management system to another, or rebuilding a site, you might want to map out all your old URLs and where they're going to go to on a new URL to make sure you're passing over all that SEO link juice, plus making sure any links that do exist around the web, they don't become dead, so that when users click on them, they end up going nowhere. We want to keep everything live and fresh for your users. Actually, there's a good example of 301 redirects in this style. You can see that Tesla used to be called teslamotors.com. So if you go to www.teslamotors.com, it's going to redirect to tesla.com. That's their new website address. That's a really common use for 301 redirects. So how do you do a 301 redirect correctly? Now, they're so important because you want to get them right. Because if you get them wrong, you're going to have broken links around the web and you're going to lose all that SEO value you've built up over years. It's going to cost you a lot of time and a lot of money to get back to where you were if you don't implement them properly. There's 3 or 4 ways you can really do it easily. The first one is directly through your hosting. On Ionos here, for example, this is very similar to all other hosting. You can actually use the adjust destination button or the redirect button to forward a domain to a different website address if you want to move a whole website from one domain to another. For example, you could click through and enter the destination URL. So you just pop in there whatever redirect you want, and select the HTTP redirect, and that automatically redirects your domain to the destination domain. The internet address URL of your destination will appear in your user's address bar. So that's number one. That makes it easy, but it's going to give you a little less control and is not going to let you do it on a granular level from page to page. To do that, we could go into our content management system like WordPress, and I'll show you how to do that next. So if you log into WordPress and go to your dashboard and go to your plugins, you'll be able to install something called redirection. If you go to add new plugin, you can search and find this and install it. You'll be able to then access the settings of it in tools on the left hand side here and redirection. Now in here, it's going to allow you to start adding various types of redirects in there. This is really great if you've got a particular page or you're trying to merge two pages on your website. You can see there's a number of them that we've set up here. You can see that we've got 301 redirects and they've had 350 hits, 369 clicks. So there's hundreds of users that are being facilitated through this. You can add a new one quite easily. You put the source URL, so the page you're starting from, your old page, and then you add in your new target URL, select redirections and add redirect. Then it will come up looking something like this. Once you've added it, you can just put the slug if you want instead of the full URL and ignore cases and slashes in case there's capitals and stuff in there. We want to capture everything basically. And you can see the target URL here. I actually wanted to redirect this to the homepage. The reason we did it on this site in particular was because we were deleting a lot of pages and shrinking the site down, but we didn't want to lose any of the link juice and the navigation that people were finding through these links to our website. So we saved that, and then you can actually check your redirect here, and it's going to show you whether it's loaded correctly. And actually in our web browser as well, we can go and check that. We can put the URL into our web browser and it's going to forward us to the URL or the homepage that we wanted in this case. It's super easy, just like that. You can go and use this plugin to do hundreds if you've got a full set of redirects you want to do from old URLs to new URLs. It's a really user-friendly, easy way to do it. The other way, and the final way you can easily do it, is through your Htaccess file. This is one of the files that is hosted within your website, and it allows you to sort of set the rules of how you want your website to behave and your URLs. You can actually access this file through Yoast in tools.htaccess file. You can go in here and start adding redirect tools, and to find out actually how you would structure this, you can use AI, get us to write this code. This is a good place to put it if you want to sort of put the rules in there and sort of not have anyone fiddling them with plugins and things like that. So we could go to a tool like ChatGPT or Claude and ask it to help us write redirects. So you could simply say, can you help me write 301 redirects to my .htaccess file on WordPress? I want to redirect, and then add in either the two domains or the URLs that you want to redirect from one to another, or you could write in whole rules. My blog folder structure from example.com/category /to example.com/blog/ hit enter, and it's going to go then write the code for you. So it's actually going to build that solution. It's going to write you the code, the category structure. So it's going to say the rewrite rule, we want to go from category to blog, and it's going to be a 301. So you can take this code and add it to your Htaccess file, or you could even get it to do a single URL. Can we redirect a single URL, example.com/12345 to example.com/hello there. So it's going to go and write that redirect for you there with that single URL, enable rewrite engine again, redirect a specific URL. This hash is just an explanation of what the code is for a human reading it. The rewrite rule, that's the previous slug, and we want to push it to the new slug basically. And if we were to take that, we would then take that, or the list of them that we wanted to do, pop that in our Htaccess file, say save, and boom, that redirect is going to work. That is the easiest ways to go and manage your redirect. Personally, if I'm working in WordPress, I'll use the redirection plugin a lot to move a lot of them, or I'll get the Htaccess file written with all the redirects in there to transfer that SEO juice between one and the other. I would probably only use the hosting method or variation if I've bought up other URLs. Say I wanted .com.co.uk.org and I wanted to push all those URLs to .com to protect my brand, I'd probably do it through the hosting. Otherwise, I would probably work within something like WordPress or my CMS to manage it. Gives me a bit more flexibility to manage them as I need, basically. There you go. That's your complete guide to 301 redirects for your SEO.